Welcome to week 4. Thank you to those of you who submitted the information memo. I plan to have those graded by Tuesday, hopefully. I will email the class when they are fully graded, so you can go in and check your mark, look at the rubric, and also read my written feedback. I do provide exact reasons for where you earned your marks, where you lost your marks, tips for improvement, that type of thing. So I appreciate it if you take the time to read that this week. So, week 4, here we are. Time for your skill statements. And as you experienced last week in writing the memo, for point number 2, you are expected to already create one of your skill statements to do with communication, a skill that you have already. So guess what? You are 1/8 completed this week's assignment already because you can recycle that skill statement into this week's work. All right, before we begin the assignment itself, I just want to point out that there is a PowerPoint here. As usual. You can download this if it doesn't always format properly in this reduced version, but it is here fully proper. It runs automatically. You guys can look at it in whatever format is easiest for you. I do recommend looking at this prior to beginning the assignment. I have also provided something called the action verbs tip sheet or action verbs sheet, and we'll come back to that once we've looked at the assignment itself. As you see, there is a second PowerPoint here about cover letters. I do not deal with cover letters in this course specifically. However, many of you are going to be required to create a cover letter to accompany your resume when you apply for jobs. If you do not have a lot of experience writing cover letters, the chapter 15 in the textbook is amazing. It has great content to help you through that. I provide this PowerPoint just as an extra set of information on what to focus on, what to consider as you're writing it, and just some tips and tricks that I include there for your benefit. That is completely optional viewing, but I do provide it for you. Same that is optional viewing is the PowerPoint from the publisher. Again, if you don't have access to the textbook yet, or if you're using it in the library and you need to review some of the content on your own time, you can access those PowerPoints as well. All right, so now let us go into the assignment itself, which is here. When you open it, as you can see, you have to click on it to download it, and I've done that already, so here we go. Once again, I have an objective statement. I like you to have a reason for what you're doing. And you may take this assignment in one of two ways. You are going to be locating a job advertisement. Now, you can find one that is relevant to you currently as a student, if you are looking for a part-time job, if you are needing an internship or a co-op position, that type of thing, you can find one of those and use it for this assignment. Alternatively, you can project into the future and pretend that you have already graduated from the course that you are studying in currently and that you are looking for your dream post-graduation job. And you can write your skill statements as if you have already completed your course and you have those skills in hand. So I will leave that decision to you, which type of job you want to use to complete this assignment. Now, that being said, likely you will be using the internet to find a job ad. Back in my day when I was your age, we would go to the newspaper and they would have what was called the classified section, and employers would pay the newspapers to post their ads on those pages, and job seekers would go there to look. Those days are long behind us. You guys are probably saying, what's a newspaper? So we have other tools that you can use this time, and I have some recommendations here. Workopolis, Indeed, both have Canadian versions. Normally they already know where you live. It's a little creepy how well they are attuned to where you are to be searching for a job. I'm actually just going to pop into Indeed for a second just to show you what they're like. If you've never used it, as I said, they already know where I am creepy. And then you can put in job titles, you can put in details, part-time, full-time, work from home, whatever it might be, whatever your field of study is, and it will result with jobs in Barrie. Now, if you don't want to be looking in Barrie, it also defaults to give a lot of the major centers around and near Barrie, but you can put in whatever location you want. You can also broaden the search when you get in there, but that is how Indeed works. It's just one of the examples that you can use. Whoops, wrong page, very wrong page. Okay, so back here. Workopolis, Indeed, Monster, there's a bunch of them. As well, in Canada, we have government websites that often post only to their own sites. Federal Government of Canada, Provincial Government of Ontario, City of Barrie, County of Simcoe, they each run their own job posting. Now, some of them are duplicated on Workopolis and Indeed and that type of thing. Another place that you might want to look if you are hoping to work in the nonprofit sector is websites of companies themselves. Nonprofit companies will often not want to pay for posting on things like Indeed, which there is a cost associated with. So you might want to look directly on the websites of the companies that you are interested in working for to see if they have their own job listings there. So I will leave it to you. Now, when you find this job, you must save and attach a copy of it with your skill statement submission. I need to be able to see this job ad to know how well your skill statements are fulfilling the needs of that employer. Okay, so if I don't get a copy of this, I think the highest mark you can get on the assignment is something like a 60. So be sure that you include your job ad with your skill statements. Okay, once you've found your ad, try not to take forever finding it. It shouldn't take you more than about an hour, I would think, maximum, hopefully less than that. But once you have your job ad, I want you to look through it very carefully. Highlight. What are the skills and qualities that they're looking for? Is it communication skills, leadership skills, technical skills, special to the job itself? What is it that they're after? And I want you to go through and look for the active verbs that they are using to describe that job. Okay, if you don't know what I mean by active verbs, there is a long list on page 429 of the textbook. And also I have provided, right here, an active verbs sheet. And it is just another copy. Some of these are duplicated from the textbook, some of them are not. So if you're not finding that the textbook has sufficient use of active verbs for you to choose from, here are a few dozen more that might help you as you establish what it is that you are able to provide to this employer. Now, giving them back the verbs that they used in the ad is completely acceptable, okay? You'll know it when you see it. Have a look again at the examples of the resumes on pages 431 to 34 of the textbook. That is the format that you will be using. As you write them out, make sure that you are dropping the word I. Do not begin with, I completed, I proposed, I provided, whatever it might be. Make sure you're starting with the active verb that you've chosen, okay? Be sure that you are using 8 different active verbs. You cannot use maintain 4 times. Please use 8 individual verbs as you describe your abilities. Now, when you have figured out what the 8 skills are that you have that match well with the job ad and things that you can support, don't just say, maintained good relations with customers. Okay, it needs to be more than that. Who were these customers? What was involved in that relationship? How did your relationship with those customers benefit your employer? Okay, go into more detail. These should still be a single statement. These should not be paragraphs. As shown in the textbook, look at the examples there for the amount of information that's necessary, the format that is being used, and the level of detail that should be included. Okay. You are welcome to send me a draft of these skill statements if this seems confusing. I know it's a lot of information to try to pack into 8 statements, so you are welcome to send me an example of what you want to do. As well, please look at your feedback on question 2 from last week, where you gave the first of the 8 skill statements that you will be including when you did your information memo. Once you think you have your 8 statements completed, you've had a good look at the job ad, you've aligned your skills with those that the employer is seeking, use this checklist. Did you use 8 different active verbs? Okay, do not use the same verb twice. Do you have that active verb beginning the statement? Do you describe a skill, and do you give enough specific detail, giving the impact that it had for your employer, that type of thing, using the examples provided in the textbook? Are they clear, concise, and persuasive? Is this a skill that's going to make the employer think, yes, this person is a good fit for the job? Is it relevant to the job ad? Does it show that you've mastered a task? You can read that for more detail. Is it measurable in specific terms when possible? How much did you improve sales? How long were you at the company? All the different things that might come into play there. And did you fully develop your statements to replicate, the format shown in the textbook? All right. As always, resumes should be the most flawless document you ever produce. So proofread closely. Give it to the pickiest person you know to review. Get their feedback on it. You can take these to the Writing Center or the Language Help Center for assistance if you wish. The links for those are under course information, as we saw in week 1. And be sure to upload your assignment by class time, and I'll show you where in a moment. You just need to submit the 8 statements and the job ad. That's it. You don't need to give me any other information this week. Your grading, 10% of your mark, very straightforward. Do all 8 skill statements reflect the needs of the employer shown in the job ad? And that's why I must have the job ad so that I can answer that as I grade you. Does each statement have the verb, the detail, and the impact to show that it is a worthwhile statement? And is the statement written clearly, free of grammar and spelling errors? Okay, so when you come to submit, click on Skill Statements, and you will submit here. Click in, oh boy. All right, pause. Okay, so I'm learning that in the latest update, I don't see what you see anymore exactly the same, and I used to. So when you click on Skill Statements, it will bring you to this page, and you will hit Start Attempt 1, I think is what it said, and I already opened it, so now it says Continue Attempt 1. You can only submit this once as far as I know. It will bring you to this page. You will click here, and same as last week, you will attach a Word or a PDF document. Please do not use Google Docs. Please do not use the document produced by a Mac or anything else. Make sure it's Word or PDF. You will also attach the copy of your job ad here. Okay, you need to include that. You can either have it as part of your document below your skill statements, cut and pasted in there, or you can attach it fully here as well. Please don't use the URL. Often they don't work by the time I get around to marking them. If it's something that you used earlier in the week, sometimes they've died. They've gone dormant by then. Also, you need to use this job ad again next week for your interview, so you need an actual copy of it. So please take care of that. The last piece for this week is a practice run at using the Flip program that I'm going to be having you use for your interviews next week. So I'm going to include that link in this week's announcement. You will be able to find it there. It will take you to Flip, which is this program. Once you log in using the link that I provide, it will bring you to this page, and I want you to complete the Hello, I Am post. Okay, I just want you to get some practice using this and make sure that you can log in properly. I will send the directions with this week's announcement. I just want you to record a short greeting telling us how to pronounce your name and where you found the job ad that you used in this week's work. All right, I will leave it at that. Please be sure to read this week's announcement to get that link for how to get into Flip. Thanks so much.